Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students.
Alaikum salam.
Salam.
So today we will start this chapter number 7, and in the last lecture I have finished this chapter number 6. Just we have left the problems. Okay, so I will upload the problems and their solution. You can try to solve yourself, and then we will see that if you have any question, any problem, then we will discuss that one. It's easy. So today we have chapter number 7. So in chapter number 7, the title is Energy and Energy Transfer. Energy and Energy Transfer. So this is the title, but actually we will discuss in this chapter about the work, energy and power. So before starting this chapter number 7, first he wants to discuss about the definition of the system. But this article is not in your syllabus, but you should know about the system. So system is actually a small portion of the universe. Small portion of universe. So small portion of universe mean that we are only discussing, suppose if a body is moving on a floor, so other forces, this is our system actually. If we put a boundary, then this is called a system. So other effects we are excluding. We are not discussing or including the other effects on this body. Maybe the air resistance, maybe some other things, okay? So that's why this is called a system. So here in this chapter, we will study about the work done by a constant force, and that work is done in that body which has a system. So that's why they want to just define this system. Otherwise, nothing this one. So the first article which I want to discuss with you, that is the work done by constant force. This is work done by constant force. If the force is constant, then how we can find the work done? So at high school physics, you have already studied the definition of the work, that if a force is applying on an object, suppose this is the object and it has mass m, and you are applying a force in this direction, and the body covers a certain distance in the direction of the force. Here the important thing is in the direction of the force. Then we will say that work has done. If a body is standing here and he is not moving, then it means he is doing nothing. He is not doing any work. So according to the definition of the work, so work is actually the force multiplied by the distance. So this is the definition which you have already studied at your high school physics. But here we will see, okay, let's see, the units of the work is the joule, and force is in Newton, and distance is in meter. So 1 joule is 1 Newton into 1 meter. So it means 1 Newton force is applying on an object and it covers a distance of 1 meter. Then we will say that it is 1 joule. So actually joule and work, energy and work, they are interrelated with each other. So their units are the same one. Joule and energy, work and energy has the same units. One thing. The second thing, this definition is valid. If I write F and D, this definition is valid if the angle between the force and the distance is 0 degree. Okay. So let's see if we have some another angles. Let's see. This is the floor and this is the object and this is the force. And force is acting on this object with some angle theta. So what you will do? You will make the components. So this component is F sine theta and this is called F cosine theta. So here the question is which component is responsible for the motion of the body, because this component is balanced by here mg and the normal force is here. Okay. So this component is balanced by this normal force and mg. Only the F cos theta is responsible for the motion of the body. So if a body is moving from this point to here and covers a certain distance delta r, suppose, then work will equal to F cos theta multiplied by distance, this one. So here you can see that if theta value is 0 degree, it means the force and the distance are in the same direction, then work will be maximum value because cos 0 is equal to 1 and this is F delta r. So if theta is equal to 180 degree, then work will be negative. So F cos of 180 into delta r, and this is equal to minus F of delta r. If theta value is 90 degree, then work will be 0 because F cos of 90 multiplied by delta r, and this is equal to 0 because cos 90 is 0. So this case holds in this way that if the displacement is in this direction and the mg is in this direction, so the angle between them is 90 degree, or the normal force between delta r and the angle between normal force and delta r is 90 degree, and the work will be 0 for normal force and for mg. Okay. After this, work is actually what? So that's why he has put the title of this chapter is energy and energy transfer, because work is actually an energy transfer. Work in physical sense is an energy transfer. Energy transfer. You are transferring energy. So work positive mean what? Energy is transferred to the system. Energy is transferred to the system. And if W is negative, then energy is transferred from the system. From the system. Okay. So this is important, from the system and to the system. It means the energy is going towards the system, and it is means that energy is away from the system. So work is related with energy. This is very important concept. Otherwise, you cannot explain work. The actual term is energy. So energy, you understand that energy is actually, you cannot see energy. Okay, the wind energy you cannot see. Just you can see the heat energy you cannot see. So energy is maybe I have already given you this example that energy is like a money. So energy you can transfer. You can transfer energy like money. Money you can transfer from one place to another place in the form of check, in the form of through online banking, or in the form of cash. This is the money, and it is related with energy. Transferred and transformed. Two terms are important. One is transferred, and the other is transformed. Transferred mean just from one place to another place. Transformed mean in which way the money is transferred, either in the form of check or in the form of cash or online banking. This is called transformed. So energy you can transfer and transform like money. This is a very big model related with the money. Okay, anyhow. So energy is actually related with the work. So we will see later that there is one theorem, and that is the work energy theorem. But before this, all these things, we want to discuss the scalar product of two vectors. Scalar product of two vectors. Now see the concept. Already we have studied vectors. You know that we studied vectors addition. We study vector subtraction. We study multiplication of vector by a scalar. Scalar multiplied by vector. This we have studied, but we didn't study vector multiply by vector. This is not we studied. Now we want to study. So if we have two vectors, A vector and B vector, and we want to multiply it with the scalar product, this is called scalar product. Scalar product means dot product. This is dot. So dot means scalar. So when you multiply two vectors with this dot, dot has some property, and this is called vector algebra. This dot doesn't mean 1.2 or 3.4. This dot is different than this dot. This dot is in vector algebra, and this is equal to AB cos of theta. This is the formula. When you open this dot, so here you can see we are writing in terms of force and the displacement. If this is F and this is delta R, you can write F delta R cos of theta. So here you can see that this is the force and this is the displacement with cos of theta. How many things are here? One is force, one is delta R, one is cos of theta. So it means the work depends on force, displacement, and theta angle. So theta angle is also very important. Let's see the more detail of this equation. You can see that if this is vector A and this is vector B, okay, and they are making an angle theta. So if you draw up a perpendicular, then this line is called B cos of theta. And this line is called the projection of B on A. The shadow of B on A is B cos theta. If I want to make the projection of A on B, then it will be like this one. So this line will equal to A cos of theta. So if I am writing A dot B is equal to AB cos of theta, it means what? This is the magnitude of vector A. Magnitude of vector A. and this is B cos of theta, and this is called projection of or shadow of B vector on A vector. B vector on A vector is this one. Similarly, if we want to write B dot A, then it is equal to B A cos of theta. So here you can see this is same magnitude of B vector, and A cos of theta is what? Projection of A on B. Here I write B on A, here A on B. So this is the whole term is scalar. If you multiply two vectors with dot, your answer is scalar. So that's why it is called scalar product. So A dot B is, this is scalar and the whole things are same. Then we can write that A dot B is always equal to B dot A. So this property is called a commutative property for this dot product. So you should remember that A dot B is equal to AB cos of theta. So if you want to find angle theta, your formula will become A dot B over AB and cos of inverse, this one. So A dot B, you know how to find A dot B, you already know this one. If you don't know, we will see here. Okay, so if I have A vector is equal to 2I plus 3J and B vector is equal to I plus 2J, I want to find A dot B. So A dot B is 2 multiplied by 1, I dot I dot I is 1, I dot I is 1, J dot J is 1, K dot K is 1, 2 same 1, 2 different 0, I dot J 0, J dot K 0, K dot I 0. Okay, so 2 different is 0, but 2 same is 1. So we will leave the difference and only take the same things. So 3 2's the 6, J dot J 1, I dot I 1. So answer will be what? 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. This is the answer for A dot B. So in this way, you can solve your problems when we will solve the problems. So this is the concept of the unit vectors in terms of IJK. So remember this one, the unit vectors, you know that the unit vectors are represented by I and J and K in 3 dimension. But here normally we will use 2 dimension. So I dot I mean what actually? I dot I mean I unit vector magnitude, I unit vector magnitude. It is same like A dot B is equal to AB cos theta. I vector magnitude, and cos of angle between I and I. I and I angle is what? 0 degree. Because if this is I and this is also I, the angle between them is what? 0. So that's why it is, this magnitude is 1 because this is unit vector, and 1 and cos 0 is also 1. So therefore the answer is 1. But if I am taking I dot J, then it is equal to I unit vector, J unit vector, and cos of 90 degree because this is I and this is J. So the angle between them is 90 degree. So this is 90. So 1, 1, 0 because cos 90 is 0. So the answer will be 0. So in this way, you can solve this one. Okay. After this, we want to solve one example. This is example maybe 7.3. A particle moving in XY plane. XY plane mean 2 dimension. undergoes a displacement. Here displacement value is given. Delta R is equal to 2I plus 3J. And a constant force. Here, remember, force is constant. We will discuss variable force, but here force is constant. And F of I plus 2J. This is in meter and this is in Newton. Now the question is, first question is, find the magnitude of delta R and force. Magnitude means this one. When you want to find the magnitude, you will take the square of this one. 2 square plus 3 square and under root. So this is 4 plus 9 under root, and this is equal to 13 under root. And 13 under root is equal to what? Is equal to 3.6 meter. So if you want to find the force magnitude, then this is equal to F square plus 2 square and under root. So 25 plus 4 and this is equal to 29 under root. And 29 under root is 5.4 meter. Now, if you want to find the work done, F dot delta R. So what will be the work done? Work done doesn't mean that you will multiply this one. You should find the F dot delta R. So 5 2s the 10 plus 3 2s the 6. I dot I 1, J dot J 1. So only we will take this one, and this is 16 joule. So in this way, you can solve your problem by vector method. Okay. After this, there are some graphical pictures. Graphically, see the graphically. If we have this object and the force is applying 3 Newton and it is moving, and this is and it is moving in this way, delta S is 5 meter. So we want to draw the graph between distance and force. So this is the distance and this is the force. Okay. So distance is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And force is 3 Newton. 1, 2, 3. So what will be the point? The point will be here. Straight line, draw a line and down the line here. This point is the total figure will be this one. Now what you will do? You will find the area under this graph. This graph is what? This graph is rectangle. So here is 5 and here is 3. If this is 3, this is also 3. If this is 5, this is also 5. But you know the area is what? Length into breadth. So 5 into 3 is what? 15. So 15 joule will be the answer. So if a graph is given, how you can find the work? So remember, if graph is given between force and distance, you will find the work by taking the area under the graph. Area under the graph. Suppose if the graph is like this one, so you will take the area under this triangle. The triangle area is 1/2 into base into height. You will apply this formula. But if you have a graph of like this one, suppose the graph is like this one. So what you will do? You will divide it in 2 portions. One portion is this one portion is this one. You will find the area of this one. You will find the separate area of this one and then add it. So this will be your work done. Okay. The other diagram can be trapezium like this one. So what you will do? You will draw a line here, draw a line here. So this is one triangle. This is one rectangle. And this is again triangle. So you can find the area of this triangle, area of this rectangle, then again area of this triangle, and then add them. So this is your work done. But this is for constant force. Okay. Okay. After this, The next article is, if the force is variable, then how you can find the work done? If the force is constant, normally we apply the formula that W is equal to F delta R cos of theta. And this formula is applicable when force and distance, they are constant. But if they are variable, if they are changing, so force can be changed, distance can be changed, and theta can be changed. Okay. So there are two methods we are adopting to find the work done for the variable force. So what is the two method? So one method is graphical method. In graphical method, suppose the graph is like this one. So this is non-linear graph. This is not linear graph. So in this case, what you will do? This is your first point and this is your last point. Okay. So you will make this lines into whole small parts. And this is your delta X for small, and this is your F1 force for this one. So you will multiply F1 with delta X, then multiply this force for this delta X, then this one. So what you will do? F1 delta X1 plus F2 delta X2 plus so on plus Fn delta Xn. So this is your total work. But what you will do? You will take the sigma notation. Sigma notation is Fi delta Xi, and I is equal to 1 and I is equal to N. So this is your total work done for a variable force. One way is this one. The other way is this one. We are taking, if this delta X is very, very small, we are putting here the limit, that limit delta X tends to 0 and sigma F of I delta Xi. Okay. Then this sigma will replace into integral sign, and integral sign will become F d of X. And this is equal to from initial position to the final position. So we will do this integration. So integration means our path is continuous, like this one. We are making like this one. Okay. So we apply the sigma notation for each path, then apply the limit, and then it becomes continuous. So continuous means it becomes like this one. So when it becomes continuous, then we apply like this integral sign F d of X, and this is W. So remember that,
Doctor, I have a question.
yes,
Can we also apply this on the other shapes you just presented?
can we also apply on other what?
On other shapes, like the square and the square and the
No, if
triangle.
if we have a square shape like this one, then you find the area under the graph. This is simple. First see the graph between what and what. This graph, surely, if the question is related with the work done, then this graph is between X and F. Okay. So what you will do? You want to find the work done. You will find the area. No problem. But this type of question when comes, they will give you the value of F. So F value will be what? Like this one, X square plus 3X. Okay. So what you will do? You will make X square plus 3X into dx. So you take the integral of this one plus 3 into X dx. You will find this one and this one with applying the limit. Limit mean from where to where. Suppose X is equal to 1 and X is equal to 3. So it means initial value is 1 and final value is 3. So this is 1 and this is 3. So first make the this integral sign, solve the integral, and then apply the limits. Solve the integral sign, then apply the limit, and then add it. Understand?
Yes.
But if the graph is simple one, simple mean like this one. This is triangle. We know that this is triangle. So what you will do? You will find the area under the graph. You know how to find the area of this triangle. You know how to find the area of this square. You know how to find the area of this trapezium. Okay. But if the value is in this form, then you will apply this integral sign. Okay. Okay, so this is all about today I discuss with you the work definition, work done definition, and then work done for a constant force. Okay. And then work done for a variable force, okay. So in variable force, we will discuss this case, the spring mass system. In the spring mass system, we will see that the work done will be what? So this is the case in which the work is done for variable force. Because when the mass of the body is moving in this way, it's changing. The force is changing. Okay. So we will apply this Hooke's law. Already you have studied the Hooke's law, maybe in the practical lab. This is F, you know that F is equal to Kx. The K is called the spring constant. Okay. So next time I will discuss with you this work done for a variable force in case of spring mass system. Okay, because this chapter is not very difficult. It is easier than the previous chapters which we have studied, chapter number 2, 3, 4, 5, like this one. So the next chapters are easy, I think so. After this chapter, in chapter number 8, we will discuss the energy conservations. So that is also very important. Which forces are conservative and which forces are not conservative. I think today is sufficient, this one, because you have also midterm exam, and prepare your midterm exam also. Okay, so if you have a further question, you can ask me. Okay, inshallah, see you in the next lecture. Assalamu alaikum.